Machine Unmanned.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us here at Hack the Machine for our final day at Naval X. I'm Nicole Mullins, and I'm thrilled to go out to Joe in San Diego. How's things going out there in California?
Good morning, guys.
Mike off the stage. Not ready for you, Mike.
You'll be on soon. We are so excited to share the results.
Is it like 70 degrees there?
Hey, whoa, cover the screen.
Oh, you're showing the results.
Oh.
Cut.
There you go. Yeah.
Welcome to live TV.
Hack the Machine is so much fun. We love this event.
Don't move, Joe. Just stay there.
We're done with Joe.
Awesome. Oh my God. Well, like always, this is live, and we're back. Sir, good morning. How are you?
Great. Are you guys getting something done out here?
Hell yeah, we're getting something done. Every day has been exciting. We have seen really strong competition across all three tracks. We're certainly honored to have you back with this morning, and I think this is your favorite part, right?
This is my favorite part. Love to see what people have done and get to reward them for it. So absolutely.
Exactly. Because, we talked about before, it's about innovators, not innovation.
Right.
Correct.
And I love the way you phrase it. We get to see what people did, not just what got done, right? Because it's the people we meet through this that matter so much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that this is his favorite part because I think the part that comes after where he goes, go do that now.
Yeah, that's actually
your
the
favorite
better part is when I get to go actually watch them get wet in the water.
That's right, which is coming at the Scout event.
Things like this.
And Hack the Machine.
That's right.
So we might as well tell folks, kind of prep it up.
Sure.
We're going to be announcing the next Hack the Machine.
Wow,
here
are we
at the end
ready
of the
to?
program.
Are we sure?
We're sure, we're doing it.
A little bit later. But right now, we're going to have our track leads join us so that, we can get to the part everybody here is tuned in for.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right, well, now it's the part everybody really wants to know about. It's time for our track updates, awards, and prizes. This has been a truly amazing experience all around. And Anthony, we've got you back to give us the Hack the Pilot update. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Nice to meet you, Admiral.
Nice to see you, yeah.
So 2 nights ago, we were giving you a hard time because you were like, nope, I'm going to bed because it's going to be a long one.
Yes.
How did that pan out?
Right, and so last night, it was another long night. Me, Javad, and Dave were up until about midnight grading all those submissions you guys put in at the last minute like you do in school. But we ended up getting it done, so.
And so we're ready to show the winners. We've got a leaderboard, right?
Of course, so we have a leaderboard. We have the podium winners up here. So we have Conduct Unbecoming in first place. We have X86 Arsonist in second place. And then we have, in third place, we have Dark Wolf Solutions right there at the bottom.
If nothing else. I mean, I just love the names.
I told you, there's some trolls.
You told us there were trolls, and then it shows up in the names. I like this one, 404, Drone Not Found is great. Cyber Munchies.
Cyber Munchies.
Cyber Fleet,
We be jamming.
And CGI Federal.
Those guys are really creative.
That's awesome.
Some of those scores are twice the amount they were last time.
That's what I was thinking about. So when you were up here yesterday, 24 hours ago, I think the top score was around 4,000 something points, right?
Right.
And then in the last 24 hours, they doubled that.
Of course. So, I mean, guys were just really trying to pile in all the submissions, but we did get some valid submissions. We had 93 total bugs submitted. So that was 93 vulnerabilities submitted. Now, of course, not all of them were in scope, so they didn't all count.
Let's see the breakdown.
Yes. So, the breakdown here, as you can see, we have 20 critical bugs found overall.
Yeah.
And so, critical bugs are anything that affects the safety of flight with these drones here. We also have 15 high. The high bugs are anything that distracts the operations of it and that aren't visible to the user. And then we also have medium. So we have 9 medium vulnerabilities that were found. That's any distractions to the operation of the vehicle that are visible to the user. And then we have low. So that's anything that doesn't affect any operations at all, but are vulnerabilities.
But it's still a software best practice or software vulnerability that can be fixed.
Exactly, yes, sir.
That's pretty amazing. So I want to clarify this idea of highs and medium. So critical makes sense to me. If you can affect the safety of flight of the vehicle, then it's critical. Right. But if it's high, the operator can't see it, but out there in the real world where the thing is actually working, wonky, with no indication to the operator.
Correct.
Okay, that's bad.
That is not good.
That is not good. And the medium is that's still happening, but I have some indication of it at my control station.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's great, but there's prize money too, right?
Yeah, there is prize money. So these podium winners, the podium winners will be splitting a grand total of $15,000 because, of course, we had $30,000 to give away.
Yeah.
So they'll be splitting $15,000. First place will get their fair share of $7,500.
Okay.
Second place will get about $5,000, and third place will get $2,500. And then, of course, we're going to have another $15,000 split up amongst all the bug bounties that were found. So we'll be in touch with you guys soon. I've already sent out some emails, just waiting for y'all to reply back to me because we need to get y'all that money out. I mean, unless y'all don't want it.
No, I bet they want it.
Okay. All right, so the bugs are awesome, and that was really interesting. But let's tell Admiral why this matters to the Navy.
Right, and so, I mean, the grand scheme of things, this matters to the Navy because not only do you want your brilliant software developers that are building the unmanned system, but you also want your fair share of geniuses that know how to compromise the systems and look for those ways.
It's really two skill sets, right?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we really appreciated Black Swift Technology as a community partner providing their autopilot to us is because this autopilot is amazing. Yeah. They fly this thing over volcanoes. They fly it through hurricanes. They fly it in all these crazy atmospheric conditions, and the autopilot executes the mission properly. So, I mean, their software developers for autopilot are phenomenal. But it's just a different skill set, isn't it, Anthony, to break something?
It's just a different skill set, a different way of thinking, just the different things they look through. They're not the ones that are actually building it. They're the ones that kind of know how to build it, but they know how to break it as well.
Right. Well, that's why I like these events, because you not only learn about the intricacies of the system, but you learn now the vulnerabilities, but you also now learn how to go defend against that. What you have to do to actually make it more resilient.
That's what Anthony and I were talking about before the event. I mean, the second reason why this matters is about that, like transitioning from a one-off against this thing.
Yeah.
We start to build a pattern. Then we can check for those patterns when things are being built.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, Anthony, as always, my man, thank you so much.
That's
We've
awesome.
run another outstanding track.
Thank you.
And you stick around back there. We're going to announce where we're going next.
Of course.
Thanks a
nice
lot.
to meet you again.
Awesome.
All right. So that was great. We now know who won the bug bounties and who won track one. Out in San Diego, without disclosing it too early, can you tell me who won in track two?
Hey, good morning, Hack the Machine. So yesterday, track two officially closed. Our submissions were due for all three challenges at 1700 Eastern Time. Again, I'm Mike Carlbaum from PMW 130, and we were honored to be the track two sponsor for Hack the Machine Unmanned. So on behalf of NAVWAR, PEO C4I, and PMW 130, I'd like to extend our thanks to Admiral Selby and the entire Hack the Machine team for putting such a wonderful and powerful event together. As a reminder, here's what our participants worked on over the past 3 days. For Challenge 1, Build a Classifier, the participants explored the data set provided and developed the best possible prediction model by applying AI and machine learning for malware classification. The goal was to build a binary classifier that accurately predicts a malicious or benign decision. This represented 25% of their total score. For Challenge 2, Optimize a Classifier, participants were asked to bring in the unmanned component. Not only did the mathematical performance of the model matter, but so did the size of the Docker image, RAM memory used, and inference speed. Optimizing performance as well as technical specifications is a real challenge the Navy faces in operationalizing artificial intelligence. This portion represented 60% of the total score. For Challenge 3, we asked the participants to document and communicate their results to a panel of 3 judges. The team shared their exploratory data analysis journey, discussed the models they considered and submitted, and provided insights into the novelty and ingenuity of their submissions. We asked for a lot over the last 3 days, and the participants did not disappoint. Joe, our team has been busy overnight evaluating and compiling the results. Why don't you tell everyone what we saw?
Yeah, thanks, Mike, and good morning, Hack the Machine. I want to echo Mike and thank all the participants for their hard work over the past few days. Our team's been digging into the data, and we can see all of the effort put into your submissions. Before we jump into the results, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the team behind the curtain. First, a big thank you to our expert judges who gave their evening up last night to review Challenge 3. Thank you, Mr. Grant Kluzak, NAVWAR's Data Director, Dr. Dale Russell, ComNav SurfPAC's Human Factors Engineer, and Mr. Aaron Sant-Miller, Cyber AI Chief Technologist at Booz Allen. Second, a huge thank you to our team of data scientists who have been working directly with the participants over the life of the competition. Thank you, David, Albert, Gustavo, Jonathan, Beverly, Sydney, Rob, and Napoleon. Before we get to the winners, we saw such diversity across the submissions that we thought it was worth noting. As a warning, we're about to get nerdy, so take a seat and grab a cup of coffee. In support of Challenge 1 and 2, we saw models that included random forest models, extra trees, gradient boosting, histogram gradient boosting classifiers formed by decision trees, light gradient boosting, feed-forward neural networks 1 and 2 hidden layers, ADA boost ensemble classifier. Scikit learns C support vector machine with a balanced parameter. Whew, take a breath on that one. For exploratory data analysis, teams quickly realized there was a class imbalance between benign and malicious data, which is representative of the real world. To combat this, teams explored synthetic data generation and used techniques like synthetic minority oversampling technique, SMOT, and evaluated Shapley values. And if you haven't had enough of the nerd speak, also known as science, we also saw random search hyperparameter optimization, Bayesian hyperparameter optimization, teams pickled the model, and by the way, don't forget to brine your turkey next week, byte entropy, binary cross entropy loss, backward feature selection, 5-fold cross validation. As the final scores came in, we can share that we had a different winner for each of the 3 challenges, which made the situation very dynamic. We saw a Challenge 1 winner maximize their F1 score. We saw a Challenge 2 winner that optimized a F1 score while balancing Docker image size, RAM requirements, and inference speed. We saw a Challenge 3 winner that did a great job of creating a compelling narrative and visuals. With all of that said, we're excited to announce the winners of Track 2. Mike, as the Track 2 sponsor, I'm going to let you do the honors.
All right, wow, thanks, Joe. It's a lot of info. All right, thank you again to all the participants. So here's the moment that you've all been waiting for, in case you weren't cued in previously and saw us with the little snafu, but here you go. In third place, we had Not the Coronavirus. In second place, Blue Pandas. And in first place, we're pleased to congratulate Hippogriffs.
Congratulations, everyone. Thanks, Mike, and what a competition. To all the winners just announced, we'll be sending emails out shortly to gather needed information and verify eligibility. After 6 Hack the Machine data science tracks, I can share that we learned something new each time and help the Navy explore the art of the possible. On behalf of Team W130, and for the last time live from San Diego, thank you, Hack the Machine, for a memorable, fun event. Now back to you on the East Coast.
Caesar, up here. Oh, Team Hippogriff
I cannot believe you picked your favorite solely off the team name. It's like when my wife Alyssa and I watch football and she picks her favorite off the helmet design. And I'm like, it's not a fair strategy, and she normally outpicks me.
I was right. All right. So Chubby Bunnies didn't make it into the last set from what I heard last time. So tell me what's going on with Track 3, since I couldn't have guessed that one.
You bet.
And you brought a friend today. It's not just you, Stacy.
I did bring a friend. We have a lot of great essential people in our team, and I wanted to introduce Zach Miller. He's another one of our lead engineers on Track 3 model. And, we heard all of the approach presentations yesterday afternoon and this morning. And we've got some amazing applicants on this track. Then we also had another social hour last night, another BYOB virtual social, and we had record-breaking attendance for that. So, talking as
I didn't get the invite to that, by the way. Did you? I mean,
yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
You might have had higher attendance than you've been there.
So as you know, we gave all of our contestants a really open-ended problem, and they responded with an incredible range of approaches. Let's play a little buzzword bingo. What do you
is this
say?
nerd speak like we were doing?
A little more nerd speak.
Lay it on me, Miller. I'm ready.
Okay, well, if we're playing buzzword bingo, on the board we have particle filters, game theory, level sets, ensemble methods, reinforcement learning, genetic algorithms, cybernetics. I could go on and on. The diverse
I want to, just on that a note. So I was thinking, because Joe was running off his list of everything they did for, sample size.
Yeah, I did not feel very worthy as he was going through that list. I'm like, whoa.
But it reminds me, when you and I were first getting trained for our naval careers, there was a vocabulary that we had to learn around thermodynamics and around electrical engineering. And you didn't question that those words about, that heat transfer and,
I think I heard Joe say entropy in there somewhere.
Somewhere in there.
I remember that.
He wasn't talking about thermo, I don't think.
I don't think so.
But it reminds me that there's an expertise level that's going to be required to really lead the world
right.
in this area. But then there's also just a fundamentals element of this. And they made us as young, naval leaders and even in midshipmen learn this vocabulary, so that when we did hear experts come into it, we weren't laughing at the nerd speak. We're like, I don't know exactly how to do that, but I know what it is and what that tool is useful for. And some of that executive education around just being able to have buzzword bingo with these guys is going to be important.
I think part of this, training as a nuclear submariner, we learn the ins and outs of the propulsion plant. We learn how every single thing works.
Right. You're a molecule of your auto going through the steam cycle.
So we learn all of that. And I do think as we move into this new technical era with things like artificial intelligence, big data, there's a whole cadre of more senior folks who kind of need to get re-grounded in some of these, just even the terminology is different.
You brought up a World War II analogy in your speech yesterday, but I'm reminded that Admiral Halsey went to flight school. Right, as a 2 or a 3-star, they sent him back to flight school so he could learn to fly before he went and commanded a carrier.
So he understood the tactics
the basic
involved
fundamentals,
in fighting for a carrier. That's right, absolutely right.
Yeah, there's something to being able to play buzzword bingo here.
Maybe it's time for me to go back to school.
Next time. I'm sure there were a lot of different teams involved this time too. Like, tell us about a little bit about that.
Totally throwing me off track.
I know, right? And I'll get you back on.
No, actually, quite interesting. So the kind of diverse backgrounds of our teams really showed through. We had everything from numerical simulations running in the cloud all the way down to like an operationally minded model running in Excel on a commander's laptop.
You had, this morning you were doing some of the final brief outs from the teams, right? From the semifinalists. Did you tell me you had some guys who actually do maritime domain awareness?
Yeah, I think they're the kind of operators on the P8s in the back. I don't know. I missed kind of the term that they used, but and they also run one of the software development groups for P8s. Quite cool.
Wow. Okay, yeah. So we had everybody from very operationally minded to some of the mathematicians that I met last night at the social. We didn't invite you.
Social.
Note for next time, invite Admiral.
All right, Stacey, get us back on track. What's going on?
You betcha. So as you know, Top Model is just getting fired up.
Yeah.
Our challenge won't be complete until December 15, with the awards on December 17th. So stay tuned to HackTheMachine.ai for those final results. So let me take a few minutes to catch you up on where we are with the challenge schedule. We were planning on only advancing 8 teams.
Right.
At this point. Right. But our judges, like kids in a candy store, were like, we want it all. So our judges wanted to go ahead and advance 12 teams to the next round, and they will actually be following through with the entire challenge phase of our track. So we want to see what they can do over the next 2 weeks with more time to prepare.
All right, well, who are those semifinalists?
So the semifinalists teams' names are, ta-da, they're on there on the screen.
Right there, right?
They'll have till December 1st to develop and configure the simulation scenarios for the Western Hemisphere transit zone.
So one of the best parts of any Hack the Machine event is getting to meet all the incredible people it attracts, and we haven't let the virtual format get in the way. Stacey's been talking about office hours and virtual socials that we forgot to invite the Admiral to. But through those, we've really gotten to know some of the people behind the team, and I just wanted to throw a couple shout-outs here. So if you look on the board, the Schreiner University team, that's a former submarine officer turned mechanical engineering professor who's competing with some of his students on an approach that was his almost PhD thesis like several years ago.
Almost PhD.
Almost.
Did something else instead, huh?
Salacious Crumb, that's a bunch of members who came together for a SIBR contract and then decided to take their collective talents to Track 3 Challenge as well.
Yesterday we had Rachel Bondi, the technical director, one of the technical directors that works for Admiral Rothenhaus out in PE, So4I, talk to us about this. She says she meets lots and lots of vendors. And her feedback on the program yesterday was like, show me what you can do, not what your marketing department can create.
Right.
And I think this is a great opportunity for folks like Salacious Crumb and others to become known for the quality of their work.
Other than a PowerPoint.
Other than the brief or the PowerPoint that they provided a sales presentation, right? And we actually get to meet our engineers and their engineers to see if there's some compatibility
That's
there.
also the value of events like this. That brings bringing those folks together, operators, engineers, scientists, all together.
Yeah, that's
solving
awesome.
big problems.
Speaking of teams that's work speaks for themselves, we actually have one team, Ocean Insight, and they've competed in several government-sponsored digital events similar to Hack the Machine, and they've performed quite well, I might add. So we're really excited to have them and see what they come up with.
That's awesome. So tell me about some of the approaches there. So you mentioned we played buzzword bingo a little bit, but tell me something kind of technically interesting that you've seen as the semifinalists have been giving their presentation.
Well, even so, today we just saw one approach that already kind of has an MVP up and running, and that was the P8 operators. So they are already putting out some tracks. They have like a simulation based on intelligence reports and whatnot, using some, I think it's Bayesian integration to create a little probability map. And every time a target's spotted, it kind of resets that probability map, tightens it, and then it spreads back out. We've had some reinforcement learning methods, which is kind of an agent-based approach where an agent's trying to optimize over kind of a particular loss function, and you just let the agent behave in a simulated environment over and over, and eventually it kind of tunes itself to behave in a way that's optimal for the problem.
And then we've also had a genetic model, right?
Yeah, we have a few approaches that are using kind of genetic algorithms, which let you can take essentially a bunch of different models, let them compete, and then you kind of do a natural selection process to, over a few generations, kind of start selecting down to a model that works quite well.
Wow. Well, this is exciting. We got our first results back on Challenge 1 in Track 3 on December 1st. So a couple couple days, get people at Thanksgiving, and then a couple of days when they get back. And that'll be about modeling the environment, about modeling this illicit cargo traffic through the Western Hemisphere traffic separation traffic zone, and then it'll be about adding in a force package and modeling out how a force package and that traffic integrate. And then the third will be about saying, okay, now if I get to swap out pieces and creatively add to that force package or a novel naval formation,
right? Absolutely right.
That's right. How might we drive up the effectiveness?
Yeah, I mean this is critical to my vision of digital engineering and really trying to go faster by being able to model it first before I actually start building something and spending more money. I want to do this digitally with a relevant model environment, and then go find out what's going to work, what's not, and what does. Let's go scale it, let's go build it, and actually put it in the water.
Absolutely.
So, exciting.
One of the things we've been asking teams is how they're going to use their model so we're not just asking them, think of something that you can deploy novelly, but really use your model to come up with something that you can deploy in a novel way.
Let the model point to the requirement as opposed to decide a requirement.
That's right.
And show me how it models.
Exactly. Right. And some teams are going with a kind of truly model-based, like, okay, we're gonna back propagate through the model and let it select the inputs better. And others are saying, well, no, we're gonna use the fact that we can run an iteration of the model in a second, and we're just gonna, it's taking that kind of loop that you talk about and making it on the order of seconds rather than
the virtuous loop, that's right.
Exactly.
The feedback.
Admiral, as I think about all of the unmanned platforms out there, and you talked about something else in your speech yesterday. You said we need formations, not platforms.
Right.
We've got plenty of platforms, and we've got a couple of the amazing ones hanging behind us. We had one volunteer in Track 1, and there's a bunch in the Naval Research Enterprise, and then there's a bunch more outside of that, right? So I think there's a lot of shiny things out there.
There's a lot of shiny things out there, lots.
and they're all
which ones are going to work, and then this kind of modeling will tell us.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. If they say, hey, we need a thing that does X, I feel like from the platform engineering standpoint, we can find a thing that does X.
Absolutely.
And that'll be really exciting to get them wet at a scout event.
And the beauty of what we're trying to do is we're trying to take many different heterogeneous things, unmanned things, bring them together to go achieve an effect. In this case, go find drug runners in the Caribbean Ocean. And to do that first in a modeling environment is critical to success. Because I just can't possibly go buy all these things and go try them. I got to figure out what's going to first work, narrow down to a reasonable number, go take those, put them in the water and see if they work. And then learn. And then that virtuous loop brings feedback back to your model. Your model will adjust based upon what we learn in the water. This is exactly what we need.
And if we can experiment locally in the Caribbean, we could, as you pointed out, experiment locally.
And then we can actually validate forward.
And validate forward.
Right.
And you take these to 5th Fleet, 7th Fleet, 6th.
So you can see how we can quickly flow ideas, go validate or go experiment down in somewhere in the U.S. or close to the U.S. Once we have something we think is going to work, we can flow it to 5th Fleet, to 7th Fleet, to 6th Fleet, whoever needs it, and go validate it in an operational environment. That's the model we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, really exciting.
You know, Admiral, one of the things you talked about in your FAQ after your speech was the need for kind of a data collection infrastructure. And as we get that in place and continue to grow it, we'll get more and more data. And we've actually asked our contestants to think about kind of what data is available now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these approaches too are operating in kind of constrained data environment. As we grow out the kind of available data and the granularity of that data, we're going to be able to come up with some really, really cool insights, even beyond what we've seen already.
Yeah, I think this is incredibly exciting. And again, it's that connective foundational layer of how do you connect all this together? How do you specify the data that we need, the right format? As soon as you've done all that, you're going to unleash so much more creativity. Because again, there's a lot of data already out there. And then you actually now open yourself to gathering more data in the right way, connected in real time. The possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
Incredibly exciting. So.
Well, the possibilities are endless, but the show isn't.
And I think you guys
Thank you guys so much.
Right?
You're just getting started.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much,
Admiral.
All right.
Great work.
All right. Well, let them
we'll
get back
see y'all
to work.
later.
All right.
All right, guys. Take care.
So, I mean, you're right. I love the fact that, the designer series that Nicole ran.
Yeah.
Just kind of talking to people in industry and warfare centers and scientists and program offices and acquisition said almost the same thing Zach said at the end. Was that our ability to create good data samples that can be shared out at distro A, like share with anybody, right? That are representative of the problem, but not the exact mission problem, right?
Exactly.
But allow us to develop capabilities quickly with this large inclusive group.
Yeah.
It was reinforced in your designer's track.
Oh my gosh, and across a lot of different topics, everything from the maritime cyber side of the house, all the way through how we're going to do our data architecture in the Navy in a broad spectrum, talking about the digital thread, going through the engineering process and tying it together. They all came back to that. So you'll get a report based on all of those talks, by the way, but I think that fundamentally, if we want to say, hey, we want to include expand our group and exclude it, we have to give them something. We got to give them something they can start to
we got to give them something.
Yeah, we got to give them something.
Yep. And prize money's good.
Prize money's great.
but we need to give them something to do something more tangible so that it builds on itself, kind of like a continuum.
Oh, that's right. So, I'm going to go for you. So we made a lot of progress here, right? Like if they were talking about the end, IWS is going to be super excited about getting and going back to CO3 and getting that work built out. But the progress here is only the beginning, right? It's one of 3. And so we actually have some news that we are talking about the next thing.
That's right.
So let's get on
So we are
about
so
that.
excited about the progress we made at this event to kick off the Hack the Machine Unmanned Continuum. But speaking of the continuum,
I think it's time, Zach. I think we need to tell them the thing that they don't know.
Sir, as you know, Nicole, as you know, we have been working hard on the logistics for our second Hack the Machine Unmanned event. I know we might have mentioned this before, but we know when and where the event is taking place.
It's going to be sunny.
It is going to be sunny. We are headed to Sunshine State. We are going to host our second Hack the Machine Unmanned event in Miami, Florida.
So grab your SPF and your sunglasses and your flip-flops and your floaties and your pool noodle and your brain noodle, and let's go down to Miami. Yeah. The event will take place live in April 2022. We could not be more excited to see the outcomes of the entire continuum, which would not be possible without all of you, the viewers, participants, hosts, and sponsors.
Yeah. So it's actually going to be close to the water.
Yeah,
we can
that's by
actually
design
put some things in the water.
Put some things in the water.
And actually watch them demonstrate their performance.
Wow. So we have a pretty cool idea to go from digital to physical. I'm not quite ready to unveil that yet, but trust me, it's going to be like no Hack the Machine we've ever done. And I've watched just about every government challenge that has been run. We're going to do something truly different that really advances your idea of a cyber physical system formation, novel formation that's got to be built.
Yep.
So please plan on joining us in Miami in April 22. Things have been heating up around here, but like Nicole said, we're going to Sunshine State. We're going to go someplace even hotter. And how can people stay in touch?
Yeah, stay engaged with us on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Keep an eye on HackTheMachine.ai for more information as we get ready. We actually can't wait to see all of you live at Hack the Machine Unmanned Part 2 in Miami,
Florida.
So thank you for joining us again. And stay engaged, guys. Be ready for the next Hack the Machine Unmanned. See you in the spring.
Stay Stay tuned for updates on the next live Hack the Machine in spring 2022. Until next time, powering down.